This is an ode to powerful women. The bold, the ambitious, the visionary.
I have to always stand up for what is right. And I have to always make sure that I can speak up for what really benefits the people and what benefits our planet.
In unapologetically embracing their own path, these women are inspiring others to do the same.
The whole journey has just been about redefining the status quo. So having to see girls actually dream beyond just a specific space, I think that has been the most fulfilling part of this all.
Continuing the long legacy of women encouraging others towards a bright future.
You're the one paving the way, and you're the one doing whatever you want to do in this journey of life, and that's how it should be.
These are some of Kenya's pioneering women. This is Inside Africa.
If you want to be the best in the basketball setting and even beyond, good job. There's a certain resilience that will be demanded from you. And one! Let's go! That's the beauty of the game, the competitive intensity that comes with it.
It's our foreman who's taking the ball out that now we're flowing into second.
The different personalities that you have to constantly relate with, and the drive that it demands of you should you want to really be at the top of it.
Changing the game in African basketball, Rose Mshilla, under her assistant coaching, the Nairobi City Thunder have become one of the top basketball teams on the continent, becoming the first Kenyan team to qualify for the NBA's elite Basketball Africa League.
It was such a huge privilege, and the experience itself was so eye-opening as to what can become of a woman within this basketball space once we keep pushing the ceiling.
In Kenyan sports, the ceiling usually stopped at coaching men.
You are allowed to do it, or it is acceptable within society to take it up when you're coaching girls. But that in itself was a unique setting from the get-go. My coaching men's team was something that wasn't frequent.
For Mshilla, rising through the ranks of basketball always involved pushing up against the norms. In childhood, basketball started as a sound, a dream out of reach.
My brother would go out, and there was a half court close to home, just a walking distance from it. I could hear the ball dribble, the excitement that was around it, and I also wanted to experience the same. Except my parents weren't so welcome to that idea. If you know about the coast in Kenya, culturally, women aren't as empowered to go out and just hoop. It's a whole different setting. There's certain expectations as to what girls need to do in that kind of space.
Her family came around to basketball.
Let's go, fellas!
And she worked her way up the coaching ranks, focusing on individual player development.
Guys on a 3 teams. There's too many bodies, there's 15.
I think she was always just like bold to speak what she felt was right.
Are there Okal?
And I think, you know, because she had done her homework, most of the time it was. And I think she really like stood on that. The fact that like no, these are our standards as a team. These are good basketball practices, and like I don't care that maybe guys are older or taller or louder. Like I'm gonna, you know, like clearly speak what I think is right in this situation.
Nakwambia uje. Na Bram, na Okal. Okal.
Dio. Wewe? Nino mna sign leo. Chagua tu mtu unataka.
Amongst towering men, Rose stands as a true force.
Rose Mshilla has a really good attention to detail. That's the aspect of coaching style that I really like the most.
Multitask, do it.
It was actually my first time working with a woman coach, and she's not that tall when it comes to basketball, so to me it was a little bit weird.
I do think it's a big deal that she's a woman working in this space with a professional men's team. I didn't hire her because she's a woman. Like, she's clearly like the right person for the job and like uber qualified. But I do think it, in this context where I think maybe women might be overlooked for such a position, I think she's making a statement, and I think in the success she's having in her role.
Every day I show up, put in the work, right? Same as them. I demand hard work from them, but I'd commit to them just as much as I wanted them to commit to me. Every true competitor wants to win. So once you're able to connect with them at that level, then here comes persons with different backgrounds, potentially very different interests when you're first meeting, but at the end, you end up aligning because you're all having this one vision. We'll stop, Nadine, control that. Good. Let's go, Nadine, it's you away.
The sound of a dribble, the excitement around it, and the next generation of girls get to take their shot.
Here is the home of Vikapu Elite Basketball. They're all about using the sport as a way of developing young people and mentoring them. Good. Back again. Go. Seeing them here, seeing them making friends, seeing them having fun, seeing them getting better in the sport that they're putting work in is such a fulfillment to me. I wasn't as privileged as they are, being able to access just a structured setting of play. So for them, this is such a huge gift.
I feel like it's like a way to get away from everything. So like it's not just a game for me, it's like a lifestyle.
Mshilla was the first female basketball coach for a national team in Kenya, leading girls under 16 and 18 teams. For the young women Mshilla coaches, with her, she hopes they see possibility.
The whole journey has just been about redefining the status quo. So having to see girls actually dream beyond just a specific space, I think that has been the most fulfilling part of this all.
This is your pocket. So right now, off the catch ball could come to your pocket, but off your movement...
As Kenya builds out its basketball industry, Mshilla believes more opportunities will come for everyone, beyond being a player.
As you turn, push the ball forward. We're going here to the basket.
My biggest takeaway from this is just show up prepared. You will fall short on some days. You will over-deliver on other days. Don't, again, use the gender mirror to assess your losses and victories. Look at it purely from a merit perspective. You're able to do that, you're able to be so objective that no one can convince you do not belong to that space.
This journey of life definitely isn't easy at all, and we see that. Everyone is trying to fit a certain mold to be liked and not really be their true self. But the message I like to convey is there's so much beauty in vulnerability, because that's what makes us human.
Whether fine and intricate or bold and powerful, Kenyan Japanese artist Patti Endo wants her art to feel as free as she does.
Because of my identity and coming from two completely different backgrounds, I've always known that whatever I wanted to be, I can be, because there's no one that I can look at and compare myself to, and that makes you feel like you can be as bold as you can.
Japanese ink and techniques passed down from her artist grandmother, Endo blends different eras and geographies to create something new.
Ink is something that I've always absolutely loved, and the importance of that also really ties down to my roots. Being Japanese, we really love working with ink work and minimalism as well. All of that just has a huge part to play in how I reflect myself.
No sketches, no pre-planning.
I work with a singular continuous line. So whilst I'm creating, everything has to be extremely intentional with each brushstroke that I put on my paper. And I feel like the moment the first line is on the paper, everything kind of flows. I'm very interested in this vessel that we're in and how we have these very strict mindsets on what it should look like, how we should carry it, especially the female body, because I do believe that the female body is too overly sexualized. And there's so much emotion in it. It can be a hand that can be curved in a certain way and you'll feel something, or a body that's turned and you'll tie it to a certain emotion.
Believing in this power of art, Patti wants to make sure her artwork didn't end on the page or in galleries.
My sister and I decided to come together and create Endo Squared to make sure that art was accessible in different and diverse forms so people could collect art, really. And that started with apparel, so t-shirts and tote bags, and then that grew into jewelry, and now we have homeware and we collaborate with different brands as well.
So Patti is the one who comes up with all the ideas. She's the ideator of the brand, and then I'm the one who kind of helps execute.
How many years has it been?
Almost
10. Yeah.
Yes, almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. And all of this really just started from a little idea of making sure that art was accessible to any and everyone, you know? Because I started my career when I was 19, we realized that there was a massive gap in the market, and that's how Yvonne and I came together to make sure that we could bridge that gap and make sure that art was accessible.
One way to do that is to make art wearable.
This is definitely one of our most iconic collaborations because it's definitely changed the trajectory of what Endo Squared is and was. With working with Sandstorm, we've seen our bags worldwide. We've seen them in London, we've seen them in New York. Every day in Nairobi we see them. We'll sit down and we have an idea of exactly what we want to bring to life, and I'll sketch out all the ideas on paper. From then, that's then changed, it's digitized and then sent to our printmakers who then screen print each of our pieces. Our entire process is fully done by hand, and I think there's so much beauty in that as well. And we always want to make sure that the human aspect is still there in whatever we make.
A line reimagined with the help of local masters.
There's only one me, and I can't create all of these products that we wanted to do. And with growth meant trusting people. And with that, I had to take a step back and realize the power of collaboration. And that's where working with local artisans has come into play. Nairobi is definitely a very special space because whatever you want, there's someone who's going to be there to help out and to bring your ideas to life.
Since we started doing collaboration with the Endo, we have seen us producing one of the most successful products, which is called Dorothy. That is one of our winners and is one of the products that is giving us a lot of revenue.
Rather than just painting and creating stuff that's 2D, there's so much we can do to broaden our business as an artist. All our ideas are possible through collaboration.
Today, Patti and Yvonne head to develop one of their newer lines with Kitengela glass at their workshop south of Nairobi.
The whole idea for our collection with Kitengela glass was really taking things back from what you'd see as the iconography of what Endo Squared is, which is the faces and the bold lines, and taking it back and kind of diving deep into the pieces. So when you see our glassware pieces, they're focused on the little details on the eyes and the line. And then the idea that we have is for it to be a clear picture, speckled with red speckles.
Now with the color here then?
Yes, we'll make that flow all the way to the end. so we just briefed the team on our new design, and we're really excited to see our ideas come to life.
A theme of Endo's process, the art of giving up control.
And there's so much beauty at the end when you take a step back and see exactly what you've created through completely letting go and trusting the process of creating. My biggest lesson is how much space we can take up as women. We live in a day and age where there's so many powerful women, and that is something that I think also inspires then younger artists to feel like they can also take up space. And the more we do, the more that trickles down and inspires the next generation and shows us that we have so much power than we've been told that we have.
I grew up in Kenya's most forested region, and that is in Nyeri County. Most of the things that I loved doing as a child were amazing things like chasing butterflies that you would often see when the environment is clean, and seeing different insects within and among the trees. And this was something beautiful, just seeing how amazing nature can be if we don't destroy it. Since then, I believe I began to co-create with nature and not only love nature, but also be a part of the solution to the challenges that are facing our environment today. Hi!
Liz Wathuti is one of Africa's leading environmentalists. Her organization, the Green Generation Initiative, has worked with more than 600 schools and 200,000 farmers to restore green areas in Kenya. Named on Time 100 list for her climate solutions, she's a major voice for the youth to power.
Our rivers are running dry. Our harvests are failing. Our storehouses stand empty. Please open your hearts. This is not only happening in Kenya. Please open your hearts and then act. Thank you.
Following in the footsteps of another Kenyan woman who took on the powerful, Nobel Peace Prize winner Wangari Maathai, an activist who inspired the planting of millions of trees and protection of the environment across Kenya.
She broke all those barriers that actually give me hope as a young person that it is possible, even as a young woman, to go out there and don't be afraid to stand up for the right thing, even when you're standing alone.
I need to be told, what do I do? Because my island state is sinking under the rising seas. What do I do? Because the rivers are drying up. What do I do when my seeds are no longer able to grow because the rains don't come back? I need answers to this question. Now, if it is not climate change, what is it, and what can you and I do about it?
Elizabeth grew up in Maathai's home region of Nyeri.
I remember when she won the Nobel Peace Prize, I kept saying that I really, really would love to meet Wangari Maathai so much and plant a tree with her, because she's the one who inspired me to plant my first tree at the age of 7, because that is the time when she was influencing women to set up tree nurseries and grow trees, and at the same time, even within the schools, we were also planting trees to be able to green our constituency and our county in general.
When you get your tree, you stand, I give the other person.
Today in Nyeri, the trees Maathai inspired have matured into a forest. Elizabeth is heading back to her roots, adding her mark in the region's environmental legacy.
Okay, so are you excited about planting? Yes. So we are going to go down there to remind ourselves how to plant, okay? It's a beautiful day today. I feel so happy to be back in my home, in my former primary school, Kando Comprehensive School, and today has been amazing meeting with the students here and planting more fruit trees with them. So the main vision of the Green Generation Initiative is to create an environmentally conscious citizenry.
So we want to create a world where people actually have a self-drive to do something positive for the environment. And one of the ways that we are doing this is also by greening schools and working with the young generation. And we have identified schools because when you work with children, it is very easy to get behavior and attitude change.
She's been encouraging us to be people of high expectations, to look up to great things and not look at the situations we have right now.
Climate solutions may be as diverse as the places they are in.
At the moment, we are at a permaculture learning and feeding garden that the Green Generation Initiative helped establish for the Treeside Special School.
Drip irrigation, vertical hydroponics. This city school garden in Nairobi is growing very nutritious produce for children with developmental disorders. Eggs from a chicken farm provide essential protein for the children, and additional income for the school feeding program.
In a rising climate, we know that children are most impacted, and most often it is children who have to go to school each day without a meal. So if we are able to create a system where children and the school institutions can grow their own food within the school land and within the school compound, then it is very easy for the children to get a meal when they are in school. So that again cautions them from the aspects of food insecurity, because then they are able to utilize the space and grow nutritious vegetable that would normally maybe not be grown in a normal school, for instance.
The garden is very important in improving the nutrition of these learners. Learners with intellectual challenges or learners with disabilities require a balanced diet that will help them to grow. The surplus we sell to substitute what we do not have. For example, we sell the spinach to get flour. We sell the eggs to get rice.
Part of Elizabeth's goal is to promote African ideas and scale their solutions for investment.
I always believe in the model of making the change happen at my community level, making the change happen in my country, making the change happen across Africa, and then using that to influence how people think about solutions, using that and showcasing what is already working so that we can be able to get more people to replicate, more people to scale it up, more people to ensure that resources flow to the community levels so that we can be able to maximize on our impact.